Cotton is the most important cash crop grown in the United States. It is a fiber, in fact, the most widely used fiber in the world. About 1/3 of all of our farmers grow some crop upon which so many Americans depend for a living. For 10% of our people earn their living by growing, handling, and processing cotton. The cotton ripens about 200 days after the time of planting. As the boll dries out, it splits open because of the pressure fibers inside. As soon as enough bolls are open, picking begins. In some parts of the United States, the cotton crop begins to ripen in August. It continues to ripen in different sections until late December. The cotton belt extends across the southern part of the country from Virginia to California. Since very early days, cotton has been the most important crop in the southern states. It is still the principal farm crop of the South. Most of the cotton grown throughout the world is picked by hand. Pickers go into the fields with long sacks hung over one shoulder. They go between the rows, picking the fluffy cotton. The long sack drags along the ground behind the picker. Cotton is picked with both hands by pulling the locks of cotton out of the burr. The picker must stoop over most of the time in order to pick the cotton from the top to the bottom of the stalk. It is hard, back-breaking work, but hand-picked cotton is cleaner and brings the highest prices. Pickers usually work over the fields 3 times to gather the entire crop. These 3 pickings may be done weeks apart. When the sack is full, it's carried to the trailer for weighing. Each crew of pickers works under a foreman who weighs the cotton. He also oversees the loading of the trailer. When a picker brings in his sack, it is swung on a field scale and weighed. The usual weight is about 70 pounds. The foreman calls the weight to his checker, who punches out a tag and hands it to the picker. With this tag, the picker collects his money, for he is paid by the pound for his work. The sack of cotton is now carried up a ladder and dumped into the trailer. It takes a man 30 hours to pick 1 acre of cotton. But now a new kind of cotton picker is being used in some fields. This machine can pick cotton as much as 50 times faster than a man can pick it by hand. Looking like a herd of mechanical elephants on parade, this long line of machines marches across a field in the San Joaquin Valley of California. They swallow up row after row of cotton. These machines make it possible for cotton farmers to earn a living in places where there are labor shortages. This mechanical picker has released thousands of former cotton workers for better jobs in new manufacturing plants throughout the South. These cotton picking machines will help to make possible a better standard of living for the people who live in the great cotton belt. As the machine moves along over the rows, iron spindles or fingers turning at high speed pick the locks of cotton from the bolls. A blast of air helps pull the fibers from the spindles, and then air suction carries the cotton into a hopper on top of the machine. When the machine has picked a hopper full of cotton, it is driven from the field and then onto a platform alongside the trailer. Here, the load is emptied in a few minutes. The loaded trailer is pulled away by a tractor and taken along the country roads to the cotton gin. Modern cotton gins separate the seeds from the lint at the rate of thousands of pounds of cotton per hour. Before Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin in 1793, it took all day for one man to pick the seeds from less than 10 pounds of cotton. When a load of cotton rolls into the gin yard, it first stops on a big scale to be weighed and recorded. Inside the scale house, a woman records the weight. She then gives the farmer a numbered tag to put on his loaded trailer. When a farmer brings his load of seed cotton to the gin, his trailer is placed under a telescoping pipe. Like a giant vacuum cleaner, this pipe sucks the seed cotton out of the trailer and up into the gin machinery. Now the seed cotton drops into the actual gin, where many circular saws turning at high speed separate the seeds from the lint. The fine teeth in these saws catch hold of the lint and pull it from the seeds. This slow motion photography shows the speed of the saws slowed down 8 times, but still the action is far too fast for our eyes to follow. The wisps of cotton lint that are separated from the seeds are blown by an air blast through a pipe into the baling box. The cotton lint is pressed down tightly until a bale of about 500 pounds has been formed. The gin bale is wrapped in cloth bagging and then tied with steel bands called bale ties. After the bale leaves the press, it is weighed. The newly formed bale is now given a number which is painted on the wrapping and also attached by a printed tag. The completed bales are then taken to the gin yard and stored until time to take them to the cotton warehouse. Thousands of bales accumulate in the gin yards during the height of the cotton harvest. Samples from each bale are given to the cotton buyers, who hire skilled men to class the cotton according to staple and grade. The staple, or length of the cotton fiber, is very important in judging its value. This man is pulling several tufts of cotton while his experienced eye measures the length of the fiber. He's also judging the quality, strength, and character of the sample. Grading is done to decide the color of the sample and to measure the amount of trash in the bale. Number 5, or middling, is the universal standard from which all cotton is graded. Cotton is either better or worse than middling. When these men have classed a sample, all of the facts are recorded. The bale is then offered for sale at a price based on these records. Each bale has its own number. This man is selecting cotton of a certain quality for shipment to a mill. He does this by the use of samples taken from the bales. The bales which have been sold are taken out of storage. This small steam press makes it possible to remove the bale ties put on at the gin. The bale is then carried by hand truck to this giant compress, where steam pressure packs the cotton into a bale half its former size. This is done to save shipping space. The compressed bale is then taken by hand truck to the waiting boxcars. The cotton which is bought by mills in the United States is usually shipped to them by rail. When the cotton is being prepared for shipment to other countries, the bales are reduced to their smallest possible size. These are called high-density bales. As this tightly packed cotton slides off the compress, the bales are code-lettered. A man with a hand truck then takes them to waiting boxcars for shipment to a seaport. When the cotton bales arrive alongside the ocean freighter, a huge sling lifts them upward and swings the bales woven into many strange and colorful fabrics. Cotton has had a major part in building the solid foundation upon which rests the prosperity and power of the United States.